Well, we have made it very clear that this trial in the first place was unnecessary. Nigeria is wasting its time on a trial that will take Nigeria nowhere, particularly at the time Nigeria is facing serious security challenges. That's what we should be focusing on, is how to retrieve the body of the Brigadier General that was killed, if they have not. It is how to save the 35 Muslim girls that were abducted from a high school, 25 of them. It has to save 35 Christians who were attacked and abducted live. And that's what Nigeria should concern itself with, not a flimsy, frivolous trial to jail somebody whose only crime is asking for justice, in my view. I was watching part of it because I was in court for a different matter. And when they were describing the evidence they have, I was expecting them to say that they found him with an RPG. No. The only evidence they found in his room was a microphone. And then the biggest weapon was a radio transmitter. I have never heard that before, that a country will waste 10 years to prosecute somebody whose only weapon is a radio transmitter and a microphone. They also found underwear. The rest is hearsay, including, they presented, by the way, an interview from SOWERE reporters. Should anybody be jailed for being interviewed by SOWERE reporters? They kept mentioning it. Interview SOWERE reporters, interview SOWERE reporters. So if someone did an interview with CNN now, does that mean the person should be jailed? And I'm aware that they are still reading the judgment. Laboriously, you could tell that the judge is struggling. Laboriously. I'm just hoping that between the time they present the case and the time the judgment will be delivered, that common sense will prevail. And Kanu will be allowed to rejoin his family. And Nigeria, hopefully, will start facing its real challenges, of which Nnamdi Kanus is not one of them. Thank you very much.
So, Kanu's brothers have alleged that the Yorubas actually hate Igbos with what's happening.
There's always excuse. And the Nigerian state manufactures hatred of ethnic groups against themselves. But ask yourself, was it a Yoruba man that, was it an Igbo man that jailed Awolowo? It was a Yoruba man. Abi? When I was arrested by DSS in 2019, all the guys who came to abduct me, one of them was Ijo, another one was speaking Yoruba. The fact that you speak Yoruba doesn't mean you are Yoruba. But all the guys that were in charge of my detention, they were Yoruba people. So when they want to use you against yourselves, it is then that I start telling you the judge is Yoruba, this thing. But when it comes to stealing Nigeria's money and wealth, sharing among themselves, there is no religion, there is no tribe. But when it is to pitch yourself against yourselves, of course, you might say that the preponderance of commentary is coming mostly from some of the Yorubas. But that doesn't mean that the Yorubas are in support of injustice. Even if you look at the history of the Yorubas, politically, they have never supported one political person wholeheartedly. There was Awolowo, there was Akintola, there was Ajashin, there was Omoboriowo, there was Abiola, and some Yorubas didn't support him. Yorubas have always been, free, just as Igbos are. It's not every Igbo person today that supports even the agitation for Biafra. Does that mean that those people are not Igbos? It's not every Hausa person today that supports blasphemy convictions against some people who are, or even though they are Muslims. So don't let anybody use that to divide you. The person who is president of Nigeria today is a Yoruba man whose only campaign buzzword is Emilokon, is my turn. He didn't say that it's the turn of the Yorubas. And go and ask the Yorubas under this regime what they are going through. That is what the Yorubas call Enikon Loba. Now the person where you touch, now they feel him. It's different from Emilokon. So you cannot be blaming, because before you know it, now Yorubas will start killing Igbos. Igbo will be killing Yorubas again, based on the misconception that the innocent, hungry Yoruba person is somehow or somewhat complicit in the nonsense that is happening against an Igbo man who is fighting for justice. Let's be careful about that, not to create that ethnic division any further. That's how they got us here.
So how do you foresee a breakdown of law and order, especially in the southeast, after this judgment?
there's a breakdown of law and order in Nigeria already. Any country where a brigadier general can be abducted and killed, even when he fought himself, cannot be rescued, there's a breakdown of law and order. You see, there are two places to find order in the world. I mean, beyond. They said there's order in heaven and there's order in hell. The difference is that the first order and the first law in heaven is order. The last law in hell is order. Nigeria has become hell, well, the last law is order. So there's no breakdown of law and order that can happen. But I know them. They can go and manufacture another breakdown of law and order. Even those of us who were peacefully protesting in this Abuja for Nnamdi Kanus, they claimed that we wanted to burn down the country. I spent 4 days in Kuje prison just because I said free Nnamdi Kanus. When I went to Lagos after that, they declared me wanted for fighting for Yoruba people whose houses they are demolishing. So when they create a narrative for you to fall for, be careful. So that you're going to start killing and fighting the same poor people. Some of them don't even know about this trial because they are hustling to get food on their table maybe once or twice a day. So that is why I keep saying that the country needs a revolution. I don't have any doubt about it. Thank you.
All right, SOWERE has spoken very well. There's no getting doubt that the country needs revolution. Obviously, yes, the country needs revolution. And for how long are we going to continue in this? How long? This man does not have any basis of trial. He does not have what law? It's a simple question Nnamdi Kanus is asking. Under which law are you trying him? It's categorically telling you that you don't have the jurisdictions to try him. You know, we keep talking about the rule of law, and we don't obey this law. We try to manipulate, we try to turn upside down this law. And when you talk, some lawyers will tell you that laws are not emotional. Laws does not look at your emotions and all of that. Nobody is talking about your emotions here. Nobody is asking if the laws is looking at your emotion or what. All we are saying is the rule of law that has been stated, are we abiding by it? He has every right to ask these questions. And then he demands a simple answer. Under which law are you trying Mazen Nnamdi Kanus? I think it's a thing of concern that Nigerians should, come up and then begin to ask some questions. They should be asking some questions. Ask the judiciary these questions. Let the public know. This man has been saying this for the past how many weeks? Under which law are you trying me? What is the offense? What law? And look at what SOWERE said, that the evidence they were raising against this man, is that enough to jail somebody? Is that enough? But they are going about, making a peace negotiations with bandits and terrorists. You see, it's looking one-sided. Yes.